Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So, The House is a Netflix stop motion animated anthology that features three distinctly different stories, but it has one central character, and that is the house. And so, in this case, we have three different stories, one involving people, the others involving rats and cats. I know that sounds weird, but when you watch this, it kind of makes sense and it does make this a different type of series. So getting into the thing that I did enjoy about this anthology is just the stop motion animation. The studio, Nexus Studio, is the one who actually created this. They are an award-winning film and animation studio, and I would say the stop motion animation in this is just excellent. When you're watching it, it feels like real people in motion even though what you're watching is actually all stop motion characters. And even when you get to the more animal characters, they're more like people, and this is out of UK. And so if you're familiar with a lot of stop motion animation like Wallace and Gromit and so forth, then you'll know that they have a great heritage of talented stop motion animation here. And I would say this is the best thing about it. It's just visually really, I would say, stunning when it comes to things like that. And if you are a fan of animation, stop motion animation, then I will say you will enjoy this. And then the second thing that I did like about this series is the fact that this is a kind of different take on things. Because it is three different stories, it's not really the same, but there's similarities. Let's just say that. And even when you get to the characters that are not human, they have human-like qualities and traits. And this is really the central theme. It's more about human characteristics, human nature, what they do. And out of all the three stories, my favorite is the first one. It is very creepy. It has to do with this weird, mysterious person who gives this really huge gift to this family who's struggling, but not without a price. And that one, boy, that would really strike some fear into you, more horror elements, even though it's not supposed to when you're looking at stop motion animation. But it really is one that I enjoyed the most. And then the other two, I would say the rat one I liked because it was just funny. And then the cat one, I would say that one was probably the weakest out of the three stories. But it is definitely something that is different that I don't normally see in this type of series. And at the same time, since the house is the one thing that is consistent throughout all the three stories, there is something that kind of ties them all together. And then the final thing I would say I enjoyed about this particular series is the acting. The voice acting in this, I would say, is really great. And if you're actually watching it and just, look at it not from a stop motion point of view, but just from like an acting film point of view, you will enjoy the acting here. They do a great job for the emoting, the emotions, the highs and lows, the fear, all of that stuff in there, and it's done really well, and it complements the overall excellent stop motion animation with, I would say, excellent acting as well. For serious YouTubers, check out TubeBuddy, the premier tool news at geekoutdoors.com. Get more done today by checking out the affiliate link in the description area below. Now, getting to the thing that I didn't like about the series, even though the house is the one thing that is consistent and it does tie the stories together, the stories are completely different. Okay, so if you're expecting a narrative that makes sense, especially when you're going from humans to animals, then it might not make sense there. And also the stories, they're kind of like ambiguous. There's really not an ending per se. It's more like you're seeing something and then you go ahead and try to make your own interpretations. Even though the second and third story, they kind of tell you what message they're trying to put out there, but at the same time, they don't give you a definitive answer. And especially the first story, there's just so many things that I would like to know, and I would really enjoy it if they actually came out with another one, but only focused on that first story, because that one to me was really interesting, creepy, and fascinating all at the same time. So those are my thoughts on the house. I really feel that if you do enjoy stop motion animation or animation in general with really excellent acting, then I think you enjoy this overall. But if you're somebody who's looking for a narrative that makes sense, that's all tied together, then, well, you might need to take a break from that and just enjoy each one of these as its own separate story. So if you actually had any thoughts on this, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And if you did want to see more of my animation, film, and show reviews, I do have an entire playlist. I'll leave that in the description area below. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. And if you're a creative geek like me, and you want to get exclusive access to more content that I don't put out here publicly on my YouTube channel, then join my Gold Content Creators group, where you're going to get content like this and more for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Gold Content Creators group.